Karma, what a delight it is to have you here with us in the Royal Global University. As a member of the core group of the Gelephu Mindfulness City, would you, would you share with us how your mindfulness city is shaping up?
Well, thank you very much for having us here. Very briefly, if I were to share with you what Gelephu Mindfulness City is, it's basically born out of a vision of His Majesty the King, and the idea is to create a urban living space like no other that can be a good example to the rest of the world as we look for sustainable ways to develop our countries, but it's also to benefit, of course, our country and the youth. So basically, towards that end, what we are doing is we have identified one out of the 20 districts we have in the country to be the mindfulness city, and it borders Assam. It's right on the border with Assam. It's about 2,600 square kilometers. And to make this city work, the key or the USP is governance.
Right.
The software is key to attracting investors. So towards that end, what we are doing is we're identifying this district as a special administrative region and giving it independence in terms of legislative power, administrative power, and judiciary,
How interesting.
so that we can create the type of laws, rules, and regulations which will give comfort, confidence, and attract investors. And in terms of the investments, we're looking at mainly service-related areas.
And Karma, on these lines, as neighbors connected not only by geography, but also by deep spiritual and ecological ties, what are the key areas of academic or cultural synergy you foresee between Bhutan and institutions like ours?
Well, I think there's a lot of synergies, and indeed that's the reason why we're visiting Guwahati at this time, and Assam, and indeed we also went up to Meghalaya. You see, the whole reason that for choosing that particular space called Gelephu, which borders Assam, is we see that this region is going to be the region for growth.
Right.
Right? South Asia and Southeast Asia. And this area, if you look at it, it has almost like 1/3 of the world's population. So we see a lot of potential. But like you mentioned, we need to build on our strengths. So what are our strengths? Is our commitment to environmental conservation, is our commitment to our culture and traditions. And this is where I think we share a rich heritage. You know, the Eastern philosophies. Today we visited Kamakya. These are revered in Bhutan, and these are the values on which we are going to build a city. So even the sectors we invite and try to attract will be those whose values are consistent with everything that we cherish. So that's why it's called Gelephu Mindfulness City. Everything we do there, we will try to do mindfully, and we will create a living space that also espouses mindfulness in people.
Your country gives the world the idea of gross national happiness. What little things in India, especially in Assam and Meghalaya, made you smile on this particular visit? What are the things that attracted you the most?
I think many things, but I think above all is the interaction with the people. Right. The people-to-people interactions, and in these 3-4 days that we've been here, we have met a large number of people, diverse groups, you know, government to government, business to business, people to people, and it's been fascinating. Like today we are meeting your students,
right,
and very happy to see that there are Buddhist students here also in the university. And I think this is how we share whatever we strive to do. If Gelephu Mindfulness City is successful, of course it will benefit this whole neighborhood tremendously.
I'm sure.
And in a similar way, I think the success that Assam is having is also going to benefit us. We can see that.
As neighbors, will you throw a little light on the digital reserve bank where it's called Oro?
Yes.
And the currency which you're planning to release called Tir. Will you throw some light in this regard? Well, so interesting to know that.
Yes. Well, out of the 8 sectors that we have identified as key to the success of the Mindfulness City, one is the financial sector. But in terms of the financial sector, we are looking at a financial sector of the future. And that's where we are looking at things like digital currency with the Oro Bank that has already been set up and is in operation. But in terms of the digital currency, the work is still underway. So I think it will be a couple of years before we see it.
And it's a very special day for all of us to have you all here in our university. And if a collaboration dream project between Bhutan and the Northeast India was to begin today, what would you love it to be? An ecotourism trail, or a kind of a cultural theater kind of an exchange, or a shared oral storytelling? What kind of things would you vision, especially on this special day?
Well, I think there are so many things we share, so many things we share. And I think a lot of that, especially here in Northeast and in particular Assam and Bhutan, and it's because of the shared interactions during our forefathers, you know, this dates back like hundreds of years. And I think clearly the way forward is make sure that no matter what dreams and aspirations we have and how it may differ, that those connections remain the foundation and continue to be solid. I see that as being the strength and what we must continue to build on.
We are also very excited to hear that a 58-kilometer long, Gelephu Kokrajhar railroad is coming up. And it gives us immense pleasure to hear these developments in the neighborhood. How do you foresee the development on these lines, especially the railroad?
Well, the interaction with India and in particular the state of Assam is going to be critical to the Gelephu Mindfulness City fulfilling the vision of His Majesty the King. So we are looking at multimodal transport, we are looking at an international airport on our side, but for the rest of it, it is railway, is the inland waterway we just visited. These are going to be critical.
Sure.
And this is where we see that there are so many positive steps here that are being taken to benefit the state of Assam and Northeast. That's definitely going to have a very positive impact on us. So we are really looking forward, and we really appreciate the strong support the central government and also the state government is giving.
Thank you so much for those great wishes. And to bring this to a close, Bhutan is globally admired for its brilliance in tradition and modernity. Now, what lessons could a fast-changing region like Northeast India draw from this harmony of balancing traditions and modernity?
Well, I think from our experience, I think the focus has to be always on the people, on the well-being and the happiness of the people. And this is where you hear about our philosophy of gross national happiness. So what does that mean? That means that no matter what it is we are striving to do, ultimately make sure that these are consistent with conditions which allow people to find happiness whichever way they choose to define it. And that's by making sure there is good health services, good education services, good urban services, good spaces for spiritual retreats, making sure our age-old temples, etc., continue to be looked after and maintained. These are going to be critical even as you create jobs of the 21st century. Yes, and this is most important.
And Nobel laureates like Joseph Eugene Stiglitz and Michael Spence has already endorsed that this is going to be one of the finest creations near us. And I'm sure you all are very excited with that progress. And we hope to keep in touch. And our university is always open for any kind of help, an exchange of students and culture. And on these lines, we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
And hope our paths will cross in the future.
Yes, I do hope.
Thank you very much.
I certainly wish your university also the very best. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.